What's going on YouTube? OCD for EDC here, and what I got for your face balls today is quite possibly the stabbiest knife that I have ever owned for sure. This one right here. This happens to be the Kershaw Launch 8. It is a push button auto, and we're about to talk about it. First, we're going to do a few size comparisons. So here it is against the full size Griptilian, or in this case, the Doug Ritter Hogue. Here it is against the Spyderco Manix 2. So you can see there, although it's a very slender knife, certainly not short. Here it is against the Hogue Deca. And one other one. Here it is against the Para 3 Lightweight. So I feel like that gives a pretty good size representation. So what are we talking about here? We've got a overall length of 8.245 inches, so coming in just under 8.25. Got a handle length of 4.745 inches, a blade length exactly 3.5 inches. Got a handle thickness of 470 thousandths, or just under a half of an inch. Got a blade stock thickness right back here at just under an eighth of an inch. It's 120 thousandths. You can see here that the way the plunge grind is you really only have that eighth inch stock thickness just right back here in this little triangle area, and then it's a full flat grind, but then you have this swedge that runs, the majority of the blade there, if you can see that. So really this blade stock is very, very thin. Not quite as thin behind the edge. However, I'm assuming they left some of that meat in there just because with the length of this blade, it would have gotten pretty weak, I would feel, if they ground it too much thinner than this. But anyway, it's 18 thousandths behind the edge. So yeah, let me grab... So I'm going to show you what the blade stock is just out here in the middle when we've got that. So yeah, we're only 70 thousandths. So this thing's going to glide through material really well. You've got it's not the thinnest knife behind the edge. However, it's just very, very thin blade stock. To put that into comparison, the Bug Out, which is known for having very thin blade stock, is 90 thousandths. So, just kind of out in the middle of the blade. So you do have some distal taper going on here, but not a tremendous amount. So, for this to glide through material, this Kershaw is going to do that quite a bit better. Actually, these two blades, the Bug Out is ground very similar behind the edge thickness. But this blade just happens to be thinner overall. It's also pretty short in this dimension here. So, it's really going to glide through material beautifully. So, material-wise, like I said, this is the Kershaw Launch 8. This is an American-made Kershaw, which is denoted by that American flag logo there. This is rocking CPM 154 blade steel. You can see right there. And then you got your typical made in USA. It's a matte diskin design. Really cool knife. Certainly one of my favorites out of all the launches. I think all the launch knives are amazing value for what they are. An American-made knife with very good powder metallurgy steel. In this case, it's CPM 154, which, this is a sub $100 knife. I've seen the prices range on this thing anywhere from like $84.95 or $85 up to like $95. It does come in multiple different colors. This particular color here is, I don't know if they call it steel gray or gray. Either way, it's a gray color. It looks nice. This is an aluminum handle, and you do have this carbon fiber insert. I don't know if it's real carbon fiber or not. I mean, it kind of looks like it, but either way, it's just an insert. It doesn't have any texturing on it. It's very smooth. You do have this little milled out area. I'm just there for aesthetics. That does not transfer over on the backside. And the pivot is hidden underneath that carbon fiber insert. I will say that this particular knife, when I picked this one out, there was several of them at the dealer that I was at. And it was kind of weird because several of them, if you looked at the carbon fiber inserts, they were different. The weave pattern went in different directions. So that kind of makes me feel that it is actually real carbon fiber, because they just cut it out of, whatever space they had left on the carbon fiber sheets. So the orientation changed and they weren't all done in the same orientation. So anyway, that's kind of interesting. And again, for the money, so you're looking CPM 154, American made, carbon fiber inlay, aluminum handles that are anodized. This thing does come with this particular pocket clip right here. And you can see that I have changed it to a deep carry pocket clip. This particular pocket clip is a Kershaw clip. This comes off of the Kershaw Natrix. So if you do want to swap a pocket clip over, there are several models, Kershaw models, that have a deep carry clip. It just so happens that I had a Natrix clip, and so I threw that on here. But just to show you what this would look like with the standard clip, we'll just go ahead and line it up on this side. So you can see here, it is a reversible pocket clip, so you got holes on each side. And with this clip, the thing that I didn't like about it was you're going to have effectively probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like 3/4 of an inch of this blade sticking out of your pocket with this particular clip. Plus, it's a very long clip in comparison. Good Lord, this thing's so small it's hard to lay it on here and show. But that's about where the pocket clip would land on the knife. And so you can see this Natrix clip is just much smaller. To me, looks much better on the knife. It fits very well. It is a true deep carry. So yeah, works well. And then because you don't have the knife sticking out of your pocket, you have a little less to grab onto. However, the screw hole there on the front side of the clip gives you pretty good purchase and a place to kind of grip onto to pull the knife out of your pocket. All right, so let's get a weight on this one. This here is the most impressive part about this knife. So I told you that it was 8.245 inches overall. You have true 3.5-inch blade, and it is 2.39 ounces. To put that into perspective, the Para 3 lightweight, let's just throw it on the scale real quick, 2.436 ounces. So, and I have a couple other lightweight knives sitting here right at the moment. We got a Benchmade bug out, which we all know is just under 2 ounces. So 1.883. And here is the Hogue Deca, 2.62. So this falls, the Deca is the heaviest, the Para 3 lightweight, the Kershaw, and then the bug out is the lightest of the four. But if you look at size of these knives, you're going to see that the Kershaw is significantly longer. You have a lot more blade, and just overall, you have more handle, more blade. So really, for the weight, this is really, if you're wanting a 3.5-inch blade, I don't think you can do better on the weight. If if lightweight is your thing, this thing is super compact. It's very small in all dimensions, although very comfortable in hand. You have enough contouring here that your hand fits comfortably. I like to use this part of the guard as kind of put my thumb in front of it like that. But I have a full 4-finger grip on this knife. It's very solid. This has 0 blade play in any direction, which is quite remarkable for a button lock knife. In comparison, most, let me grab one here. it is. Here's a push button auto, sub $100 push button auto that I think probably everyone's familiar with. This is aluminum handle, AUS 8. This is a Boker Kalashnikov, and you can see really snappy action. You know, everybody goes on and on about how great the action is on these knives, and they're cool, they're fun, no doubt. But as far as snappy action is concerned, I'll just show you real quick here. I was a little behind on the button push. Let me try that again. See if I can get them at the exact same moment. That was pretty close. Probably about as close as I'm going to get it by hand. But anyway, it's very quick, very fast. So if people are familiar with the Kalashnikov, you can see the difference there in length. It's significant. But what I was going to say here is, with all the Kalashnikovs that I have personally had, they all have a little bit of blade play, whether it's side to side, up, down, and I'm fine with that. I mean, it's just kind of the nature of the beast. Button locks, you have to be pretty precise on the tolerances in order to have zero blade play with that plunge style lock. And you know, for a sub $100 knife, most companies don't put the kind of precision into it that is required to not have any blade play. So there you go. I just wanted to see, just because this is similar construction, you got a, you know, steel pocket clip, aluminum handles, and it's almost 3.6 ounces. So this thing here was 2.4 or 2.39 ounces. So again, it's just amazing for the length, and yeah, for the blade that you're getting here. You can see the blade is not perfectly centered, but it's damn close. It is really, really close. And like I said, action is fantastic. And out of all the Launch series knives, this one is my favorite. You do have an insane sharp point. I mean, this is a needle-like point on this knife. Like I said, it's definitely one of the stabbiest knives that I've ever owned, for sure. And I don't think that I've ever seen, especially on a cheap cheap production knife, I don't think I've ever seen a tip that fine before. Now, are you going to break the tip? You know, if you're careful and you don't mishandle it, then I'm sure it'll be just fine. But is that tip prone to breaking? Absolutely. You know, if you go stick that in something and start to pry, you're probably going to snap that tip right off. But, you know, again, they're relatively cheap, so not the end of the world. Now, I did mention earlier that these come in different colors. This one here is the gray model. I personally have seen a gray, a green, it's like a dark forest green, and then they also have a blue color. It's kind of that lighter Kershaw blue. Those three colors, and then they also have got a brown color that Christine actually showed on. She posted a video yesterday on Women Carry Knives. If you guys aren't following her, you need to go and check her channel out. Christine's really awesome. And she posted a video of this particular knife, and she had I think they call it a bronze or a burnt orange color or something, but they were saying, you know, and it looked kind of bronzy, but it also looked a little brown. And you know, she's going to have the better look at it in person, and she was saying that it looked kind of like baby shit brown. So, you know, I have never seen that one in person, so I'm not really sure exactly what it looks like in person, but on camera it did have some brown hues to it, and certainly wasn't, I would not have chose that color if it was available, I'll just say that. So throughout here, at its widest point at the guard area, you've got just under 1.25 inches at the guard, and you know, this kind of traditional stiletto design, pretty cool, pretty slender, you know, a little over 3/4 inch throughout the handle, and then at its smallest point, bumping my camera here, just under 1/2 inch back here at the tail end of the knife. But for a stiletto style, you know, this is like a new modern version of what everyone pictures in their head when they think of a side opening auto, or what most people refer to as a switchblade. You know, most people think they're illegal, and you know, I'm guaranteed there's definitely areas where this knife is going to be illegal. So certainly, before you purchase something like this, check your local laws. I'm not here to give legal advice on anything. I just know that in my area, it is legal for me to carry this knife. Build quality in construction, like I said before, is super impressive, especially at this price point with these materials. You know, most of the time when you're getting an American made knife that's sub $100, you're compromising quite a bit in materials. And I don't feel like you are here. The CPM 154 is a really great blade steel. I'm super happy that Kershaw decided to use that on all the Launch series knives. It's just a fantastic blade steel that works well. It's got really good corrosion resistance, and so it's, you know, it's going to be around for a long time. It's not something you have to worry about it rusting and whatnot. So yeah, it's just an overall great knife. So anyway, guys, hopefully, oh, one last thing, balance point on this knife. I didn't talk about that. It is a little bit further back. Now, some of that might be due to the pocket clip that I have on here. But, you know, generally I like to see the balance point being, like on this knife, being like right under the button. It is a little tail heavy there, but, you know, the blade on this knife is extremely lightweight. So it's not uncomfortable in the hand. I mean, this knife is so lightweight overall that I really, you know, it feels well balanced. It's not far off, and the thing just works extremely well, super comfortable. And like I said, I like to put my thumb right up here, and you do have that thicker blade stock right in that area, so you do have a pretty decent area to land your thumb. Works extremely well. So anyway, guys, that's about all I've got to say about the old Kershaw Launch 8. I picked this up from Omaha Knife, and I'll put a link up in the description where you guys can check them out. If you haven't ever been to their website, go check them out. They do a lot of they have a lot of American-made knives there, and it's just great people that run and work in that store. Fantastic place. They're actually adding on and expanding their showroom, which is pretty exciting. So, yeah, if you haven't ever checked them out, go over to their website and see what they have to offer. They pretty much sell all the American brands, and yeah, they have a lot of stuff in stock and great people. So, like I said, go check it out. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. And like, subscribe, do all the things, and we will catch you next time. Have a good one.